Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and what will be the longest video probably in the channel's history. No matter what happens from here on, I will probably never have a video this long as we break down the rant between Nadeshot and Hecz, and this was a lifelong rant. This is something you will probably only see once in a decade, once every few great years, because these two lead figures for Call of Duty had their message for the Call of Duty League, Call of Duty players, and Call of Duty in general, and I want to break it down and timestamp all of the important parts for all of you guys. It's going to be a long one, so I hope you guys all enjoy. Sit back if you want to scroll through the timestamps of the points they make, but I feel like it's something that deserves to be marked down in history as probably one of the greatest rants and I would say prolonged speeches of two prolific figures for an esport. And if anyone ever does this for CSGO, League of Legends, Valorant, of course I'd love to cover it too, but Nadeshot and Hecz are certainly a unique duo in what they did here. So I'm going to open you guys up into Nadeshot. His message for all the players out there and to the CDL pretty much ends it by saying, hey, this is not all the players' fault. This is not all the CDL's fault. Yes, the players should be making more content, but the league is also failing the players in a lot of ways.
They shouldn't rely on us for the league to be successful. But I think a lot of times people forget at the end of the day, Call of Duty is built off of entertainment, and esports is entertainment. So if people don't care about the game where it is right now, and they also don't care about the players, and the players aren't giving anybody anything to care about, that's what I was saying on my stream earlier. Yeah. Like, guys, last year we had 15,000 people watching a regular season league match. If you don't see that as a problem, I don't know what are we talking about then? Because there's two parts of it that really fuck me up. Is that one, I agree to a certain extent that the players should not have to stream while they're scrimming. I mean, there's got to be a certain level of competitive integrity intact for players going to events, having their own back and forth with their team, figuring out the game, and hopefully coming into the event with something unexpected. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, if they don't want to stream scrims, and then Activision and the league, they don't have any tournaments to play, and they're also being barred from playing tournaments with each other. I mean, the first 3 weeks of Call of Duty, I was actually stoked to watch it with the release of Vanguard because they had all these S&D tournaments. They were mixing up teams, and I couldn't for the life of me, I didn't know. The first night that they did that tournament, it was like a kickoff. I'm like, wait, why isn't everybody playing together? The day after the kickoff, actually. Yeah. And then I found out through our players that they weren't allowed to play with each other. So you go, so it's like, if we don't have 2Ks, we don't have 5Ks, we don't have weekly tournaments, we don't have anything, and the players don't want to stream scrims, then there's literally nothing for them to play, and nobody's going out of their way to like go over the top when they're done scrimming, when they're done streaming, to get back online, play pubs, play eights, wagers, GBs like we used to back in the day. It just doesn't add up.
So the reason that I texted you is because I saw your clip about, you know, players creating content. And earlier today at around like noon, yeah, definitely at noon, we started the podcast. And it was me, Seth, Formal, and Embos. And we talked about it. And I don't mind repeating what I said because the podcast is also filled with, you know, Scump finally like opening up about, you know, his feelings towards it. So I don't think that I'll ruin anything. But man, when you said that, and when I read the replies this morning about, you know, the players shouldn't be the ones that are that the league shouldn't rely on the players to make the league competitive or to make the league entertaining, I was like, man, that is an honor and a pleasure that everybody that is in this period of Call of Duty will never get to be. Everything that we do now is for future players to be able to say, I'm a competitor only. But for now, building this thing to be existent in the future, we have to create those storylines. We have to take care of ourselves. And I pretty much just like put it into perspective and said, look, at the end of the day, if you don't want to do it for the league and if you don't want to do it to benefit other people, then do it for yourself. Right? Like, focus on your content, focus on your brand, and then the org's going to benefit from your growth, and then the league is going to benefit from your growth, but you get paid first. So if you're not going to do it for the league, for whatever, you know, views or whatever you feel is right, then just do it for yourself, because you securing your future for yourself is the right thing to do at every corner.
Well, but I think that's the problem. Again, I understand that some players just want to log on, scrim, go play the tournament, and win, and that's the priority. And I think it's fair to say, especially in an esport where these teams are franchising, we're paying all this money for the league, they should be able to, like other games, not stream scrims and be able to just compete. But what you just said is the most important part, and what doesn't add up for me is survival instinct, right? I mean, it was like chicken or the egg back in the day. It's like, okay, I can either compete full out and only care about winning, or I could sit here streaming all these tournaments afterwards, you know, impacting our scrim schedule to make sure I get uploads up on YouTube. You know, even when we were playing Minecraft, shouldn't have been doing that. Had a blast. It's paid off in the future. But it's a level of survival instinct where I don't know if it's even like in the thought of mine where I want to do content creation. I want to have a career in gaming for the rest of my life. And so I'm going to create content so that I can make the money that I know I can make independent of my competitive career. I just don't think a lot of players want that or think about that. I don't know. It's tough. Like, not everybody's the same. So it's hard to... I almost want to give everybody that doesn't do it the benefit of the doubt, because I'm not going to tell somebody what their priorities should be, but I always wanted to make this a full-time gig as long as I could. So that's why I was making as many videos and streaming as often as I was.
Yeah. But even then, right? Like you bring up money, and like, do you think that the cushy paychecks that these players are now getting are sort of like not killing, but hindering their competitive drive? And in all sense, not just in Call of Duty is one thing, right? Like, a competitor is going to be a competitor. But when you're getting paid that much, like, it sort of forces you to not hurt and not struggle and not be in a position where you want more, because the job that you do, the bare minimum that you do, is taking care of everything that you could ever want, right? Like, for me, I think that, you know, these salaries kind of made some people like super comfortable in the position that they're in. And like you said in that thing, that's not always going to be there. And we're seeing it like as we speak, right? There's a lot of top 50 players, big players with big brands that don't have a spot in the league, right? And it's like the story's there. Like, you're seeing it daily, where people are retiring and some people just like go off and disappear. Formal brought up this dude, Luca from Paris. Like, he was a really, really good player, and all of a sudden, like, he doesn't even tweet anymore. That's what Formal said. I didn't really pay attention, but that was a good example as to like what can happen in literally one season, off season.
Yeah, I think it's short-term thinking. I think the salaries that players are earning today, I mean, the OGs know we were playing for a couple $100, $1,000 here or there. Nobody was getting paid. And so, again, I bring it up often and said it earlier today on my stream. I'm sure you brought it up on the podcast as well. It's survival instinct. It's, what are your priorities? Do you want to do this forever? But I think what the players don't have enough insight into, which isn't necessarily their fault, because everybody has management, everybody has agents, everybody has lawyers, which I think is a really, 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 really good thing. But they don't get to see on the back end the P&Ls and the EBITDA and everything that affects the organizations that are paying the players, the partnerships that we're signing, and even from a league front. Like, Activision, to their credit, has done a decent job of monetizing the CDL in comparison to other leagues that I've seen or have been a part of. But the players don't get that this is very short-term salaries. Like, players are not going to be getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars the way that we see to this day if we can't get more than 10,000 people watching a regular season league match. Like, agencies and brands are going to get a lot smarter and a lot more savvy about where their investment is actually going, rather than the dream that Activision has sold and the story that they're telling. So again, there is a slew of issues here that have compounded over years and are very nuanced. And again, I want to give the benefit of the doubt. I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, a revolving door. I get that players want to exist in the world of League of Legends and CSGO and all these other tier 1 titles where they don't stream scrims. You don't really see pro players scrimming. A lot of pro players quit so that they can go do content full time because the juice ain't worth the squeeze. But right now, a lot of these players, like you said, are earning a good amount of money that are taking care of all their bills, all the things that they find a necessity in so that they can play full time. But it's only going to last so long. This can't go on forever. Like, this, it's not a blank check. It's not money pouring from the sky.
Yeah.
There is going to be a bottleneck at some point if the players aren't continuing to grow their own brands and driving value for themselves and putting organizations in a position where they need to pay them more. So it's tough, man. I just don't think people are going to wake up and smell the coffee soon enough to understand this viewership is not, it is not under any way justifying the salaries that are being paid. But
absolutely not. And what I was saying in the pod, and I said this before too, like when everybody was complaining at the end of the season, at the end of the COVID season, how everybody was sick with LAN or with playing online. It's like those are the same peoples that didn't want to be in the bubble, and also, like, what was the other option, right? It was either we play online and we save the season because of COVID regulations, government regulations, or we just don't play at all. And I'm not going to pay a pro player to fucking just sit there. Like, if you're not creating content for me, for the people that are keeping the lights on, then what am I paying you for, right? Like, I'll pay somebody to be a content creator, but I'm not going to pay you as a competitor to sit around and not compete. You know what I mean? So it makes a huge difference, the amount of commitment that it takes to be on this thing on a daily basis.
But the other problem is, though, too, because I agree with some of the things that I saw on social, is there really is not much to stream. I mean, people that are playing Call of Duty casually now, they're playing Warzone. We don't have 2Ks anymore. We don't have 5Ks. We don't have monthly tournaments. We don't have qualifiers. We don't have any moments where competitive opportunities to stream actually exist. And then on top of that, we don't have ranked play. And, you know, to Simp's point earlier, I don't know why he got the grunt of everything censor. Like, Simp is one of the best players in the world, and I wish he did stream 24/7 because I know a lot of people would want to watch it. But scrims are tough. And again, you know, not only do we talk about competitive integrity, but from a player's standpoint, this is a really fucking awful environment to have to stream, right? Because you got people talking shit to you when you make a bad play. Players are arguing, trying to figure out what's going to be best for the tournament that's coming up. There's emotion and there's stress, and it's just not a great environment to share those intimate moments that you're having. I mean, we did it in the past. The game is very different now. The competition is at the highest level it's ever been. So it's really, really tough because I get it from both sides of the fence. I think I just want to avoid singling out, and I'm sure you feel the same way too, of all the players specifically, because there aren't a lot of tools and opportunity given by Activision in the game itself to have moments that should be broadcasted 24/7.
And then much later on, it's actually Hecz comparing the launch of Halo to how CDL is going. Pretty much how I took this was pointing out, yo, Halo launched in amazing fashion with Adam Apicella, of course, 343 behind them as well. They have done some incredible things over there in such a short period of time. Meanwhile, Call of Duty League is a franchise league that teams paid for. And where is that kind of hype? Where is that kind of support?
The reality that we live in today is that we, for the last decade, have been on our own, playing on a game that has sort of been catered to from a competitive level at a very, very, very low amount, right? Like the league play, like whatever happened to the code for Black Ops 2 league play? The amount of content that you created there, Little Zach, fucking the turning pubs into competitive, like that, like all of the opportunities were there. We don't have that right now, and we don't have that at launch. So until we, right, as a collective from a Call of Duty side, stop arguing with each other on being on the same side, and we put it to somebody else to sort of come in and fill in the other 50 that it takes to make this thing like a super viable thing, like it's beyond me. The thing that pissed me off, if I'm being honest, is that I just gotten back from Halo, and I remember I sort of got a flashback of PTSD as to what it was like to walk into an MLG event and seeing like this, you know, Halo in all lights, and then looking at the corner and seeing, you know, our little stations for Call of Duty with like no coverage and only two casters, Fwiz and Stro, just talking to the world for the entirety of the time. And I'm like, I sort of felt threatened in a sense, because I know what I have done in the last decade to help get out of that little section at MLG events and to be on the main stage the way that back in the day League of Legends and Smash and Halo were up there, and StarCraft, right? And then we finally get there, and now like little by little I see this thing sort of not being where it's at. And I stopped going to owners' calls like, I don't know, like a year and a half ago. I would send somebody that we hired to go there and then just take notes, and then I would get the download. But man, like.
And then very briefly, Nade touches on the old CWL format, why that might be better than the current CDL format. And he also briefly shouts out the Valorant format and structuring, which is apparently pretty bad for a team like 100 Thieves. And I think we've heard similar complaints from other people as well on that.
That in itself, what you just said about Halo is another key issue too, because there's got to be a level of aspiration when it comes to competitive Call of Duty or just esports in general. And I'm seeing even a lot of these issues right now with the VCT in Valorant, because there's going to be one qualifier essentially that defines the remainder of the year. Like 9 teams or something along those lines are going to qualify. And if you don't qualify in that one moment early this year, you basically don't have a season from a Riot's perspective for like the next 8 months. It's pretty fucking unbelievable. But going back to Halo, that's why the CWL was fantastic and the old school Major League Gaming events were fantastic, because there was actually the clear road to being on stage playing against somebody like Scump or playing against LA Thieves. Like if you made it through open bracket, you would go into pool play and then you have an opportunity to make a name for yourself. And now with the lack of structure around the challengers and the route that you can take as an amateur player, if you don't feel like there's an opportunity to have an actual fair shot and you're not getting paid the same way that these professional players are.
Then they also point out how there is no infrastructure. There is no hype buildup. There's no anticipation because the game launches and then we wait months and months for competition to start. Which, I mean, I agree with. It's very, very true. And then they've been very vocal about that this year. And I think a lot of other people have finally begun talking about that too.
There's really no opportunity for you to continue to play the game that you love. It's like when I went on Vanguard earlier today, since we don't have these tournaments and the Challenger Series is such a mess, and there's no events now where you can go every single month like you're going to be able to do with Halo and go to these tournaments. The number one streamer had like 300 views and he was playing 1v1 S&D wagers by himself. And so there's just been so much life that has been stripped away. I think, you know, what we talked about earlier, which I'm sure you might have perspective on too. A lot of people say that franchising is bad for esports, but I think there's pros and cons. One, I use Counter-Strike as a great example. You could sit there for an entire year paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in salaries, then pay like $1 million for a buyout. You could try to build a team, but if you don't qualify for the major and you're not performing at minor events, then you are literally, as an organization, just paying for money to be burned in thin air. And so with franchising, it sort of mitigates a couple of those issues where even if it's not a sunken cost, the salaries that you're paying these players, even if they're not performing, you still have a definitive place in the league and there's opportunity for revenue share in the future. But right now, since the format and the actual league itself doesn't have any of the things we need, it doesn't have like an aspirational opportunity for amateur players. There aren't any tournaments to play throughout the week, throughout the month. There's nothing that's leading up to the actual events that start up in February, 3 months post-launch. We are like sticks and stones and we're showing up to like a nuclear war. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. There's no infrastructure. There's no opportunity.
Yeah. If you look at, I just looked it up and it actually makes me mad because I've been using Counter-Strike's tenure as a reason as to why Counter-Strike, but Counter-Strike is 21 years old. Call of Duty is 18 years old. That's not that, we're not that far away from being 21 years old and having a self-sustainable, good competitive game. And if we don't have it right by now, like, you know, where is the hope, right? Like we can't continue to grow this thing just on the passion and the love that we have for Call of Duty, right? And I opened up today, and I displayed the fact that 50% of my collectibles are all Call of Duty. I have a GameStop stand-up sort of cardboard advertisement from Black Ops 1 that I've had since Black Ops 1, and I've moved 3 times and it's still in pristine. Why? Because I care about it. My room next to here has a Call of Duty 4 poster and a Call of Duty 2 poster. Like, Call of Duty is not just something that I play, right? Like, I love this game. I love it. I want to be 71 years old, Robert crafting it, watching football play, my team play. And anybody that can get, if anybody on that side, if anybody on the Activision side, anyone on the Activision side gets mad at people caring, right? Yeah, there's going to be a little criticism that might be a little bit too harsh, but it might be a little bit too harsh because it's so close to the truth. But that they can't get mad for people being passionate and trying to protect this thing. Like that's my issue, and that's why I've been so free to talk about it, because I'm coming at this thing from a place of love, and I'm going to continue to do what I can to continue to do this thing, like you.
Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the entire video, and you guys will notice throughout these timestamps, there are golden bits throughout the entire video. This one being Hex's crazy idea where, hey, if he wanted to, he could have put OpTic in challengers for free. And I just want you guys to sit back and imagine. Obviously, I think he's joking a little bit. I think that would have received probably a bit of backlash, but imagine if he actually just chose to do that. What would have happened to the CDL franchise without a team like OpTic? And meanwhile, all we are seeing day in and day out, now there probably would be some close competition. OpTic sets themselves up to be beat by challenger teams by doing that. But can you imagine if they were just completely running the Challenger League, and for some reason OpTic viewership in the Challenger League was outdoing the CDL, and imagine them coinciding? How weird and funny and an awkward time that would have been. So I don't think Hecz ever would have done this. Obviously, he chose not to, but it is a crazy theory to think about.
Nadeshot, I too didn't have to step into this thing, and I too could have paid Scump the same amount of money to play for me on a challengers team, and our viewership would have remained the same. Our viewership would have been fine. Our sponsors would have been okay with it, right? But that's because we've been able to share enough of our lives with our audience that makes them interested in us doing whatever. But if it was between me paying Seth and all my players the same amount that I'm paying them to play in challengers without having to pay the crazy fee up top, like that would have been a good business decision.
Yeah.
But that's not where I'm at. I love Call of Duty and I want to see it succeed. So what do? We make the investment. And that's where we're at right now.
And also a very important point is Nadeshot talking about making the investment. I know that sprinkled throughout this, he says the league has kind of, failed those expectations they set for the teams out there, but he talks about making the investment, how they roped him back in, felt like he was missing out on something, and it does make you wonder if he could go back and do it all over again, would we be seeing LA Thieves in the CDL?
Yeah, I just think that I completely agree with everything that you said. I mean, we've seen OpTic can be successful with or without Call of Duty because of the community that you built and the creators that you have and the family that has been forged. And that was tough for me too, because I wanted to be back in Call of Duty with LA Thieves. And when we bowed out of franchising in the first year, I just couldn't justify the investment. And then I just felt so far away from everything that I had grown up with that we needed to be a part of it again. And there was a lot of things that we were told in terms of how the league was going to function and the events and the moments that the franchising would actually bring. And I started getting sold on the dream. And the problem is now that we have is there's two parts of it. The entire structure and the format and the opportunities that the teams have to compete on stage in tournaments throughout the year needs to be changed completely. I mean, this home series bullshit that we watch where you only have to win 2 best of 5s to actually win a quote unquote major doesn't make any fucking sense. You could have 4 teams, 5 teams, I forget the exact numbers, that don't even get to play at all every single one of those major tournaments. And then on top of that, you need to have some integration of the Challenger Series. Even if the teams aren't a part of the franchise and you have them coming in through an open bracket, they need to be able to have an opportunity to compete against the 12 teams that exists within the league right now. So I think that I know there's a lot of complexity to franchising and the deals and contracts that we sign.
They also touch very briefly on communication, transparency. Communication is needed between the league and the players, between the league and the teams. And that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we've seen a lot of that.
But if we want this community to flourish, there has to be a road in for everybody. But I mean, and everybody can sit at the table and eat their meals too. And then on top of that, though, that's only one part of it. The structure of the actual season needs to change. We shouldn't be starting up in February. There should be a launch event, just like Halo did 2 weeks after the game releases. This isn't our first rodeo. You said it's been around for 18 years. We've been doing competitive COD since 2007, 2008. We've had these major events before, and we've seen what it can do for the community and the viewership and the partners that we bring on. but we also need there to be some sort of parallel working conversation between the studios and Activision, because that's the other fucky part about this whole thing, is that when you have the responsibility that you bring on when you franchise in this league and have teams commit to a lifetime plan for competition, there needs to be there needs to be a line of communication and some cohesion between the universal tools that each game is given and what they roll out with every single year. I mean, right now on Vanguard, we're playing a game where you have maps that are playing competitively. We got 20 maps to launch with the game, and I think like 2 of them or 3 of them work for Respawn. We don't have a third game mode. S&D had a number of different glitches that were just like unbelievable to think that we're this far along. We're still dealing with those problems. But then on top of that, these maps that we're playing have like 12 different points of contact for destructible cover. You've got dynamic elements, doors moving in and out. I mean, there's just not one aspect of it that feels competitive right now. And so if you're going to implement a league and you think it's best for the business, there needs to be cohesion between the game development, the rank play structure that we still have not seen, and how the game is released every single year. Spawns are another great example. You got Krampus showing up in private lobbies. I mean, I just don't, I can't even imagine, to benefit of the doubt again for like Activision and all of these studios. Like, I don't know the first fucking thing when it comes to game development. And I know that Vandahar back in 2011, when he came to that first Black Ops 1 event and said, you know, we're going to support this. We're going to give you guys what you need.
Another thing they bring up is how much Call of Duty has on their plate. When you talk about working through a multiplayer and a campaign and zombies and whatever else it might be, let alone the esports side on top of that, it's a point that I never really thought about, how Call of Duty is a multi-billion-dollar business, right? They are raking it in, and they have so much more to focus on than just the esports side. So clearly there needs to be more helping hands on that part of the plate.
Came out with some of the best titles. We had League play back in the day. Black Ops 3.
Where'd it go, though?
I know.
Isn't it a code, though? Like, don't they have the code and the formula as to, like, these points get you this? Like, where that can't just disappear.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, though, again, because, listen, League play wasn't perfect. There are still changes that need to be made. And then priorities, you know, probably change. It's the short amount of time that they have to develop these games. On top of that, you're doing campaign, you're doing zombies, Warzone got introduced, multiplayer. Like, look, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I can't fathom the uphill battle that must be. But the fact that we have this league that we all paid to be a part of, and we have such rich history of competition within Call of Duty, out of the box, day one, rank play needs to start. No, there just can't be. There's no other way. There's no other way to approach this without that being the answer.
Hecz also had a crazy idea here. He had a lot of great points that I would love to talk on individually, where he has a theory that Call of Duty actually holds back updates or holds back crucial things that they know need fixing or they know should be put out right away, but they hold it back for later in the game cycle because they know there's going to be a fall off of the player base. That's a pretty crazy theory, and part of me thinks, yeah, I can certainly see that happening too. They have all the materials and, of course, the backing they need to put in some great game elements like ranked play, but part of Hecz thinks that they choose not to, at least at the start.
Yeah. You know, I still firmly believe that the reason that they don't release League play at launch is because they need that second uptick in, you know, 2 months in, right? They know for a fact that people are going to be talking good about Call of Duty from release till Christmas. All right. So they're like, all right, we know for a fact that we don't need to spend X amount of money on advertising. Okay. And then what happens after that? Oh, we have the kickoff event in January. All right. So we don't need to spend money there either. Right. So it's like, when do we release League play? When it starts becoming a little bit low. I bet you, and hopefully this changes it and speeds up the timeline, but I bet you that we don't get League play until April or whenever champs used to be ran back in the days. Because they have the data, they have the data points, they know Call of Duty better than the Call of Duty sells better than anyone, so they know that what months need that like little extra boost. And I think that with this being launched 2 months, boom, and then immediately after that, what's up? Somebody's breaking into your house? Like, he can't hear me. set 2 months in, obviously, like the league.
Yeah, hold on.
launches,
Give me
and
one
then-
sec. Somebody's at the
Yeah,
door.
Yeah, do you think? I'm just gonna keep talking.
A really funny part during the stream was actually we're like 20 minutes in, right? And Nadeshot gets interrupted, and the whole chat thinking that apparently CDL was at his doorstep or, you know, in his ear, giving him a call saying, hey, don't stream this. That is not true. It was just John Robinson. It was not the CDL. This is not a Zuma Ben moment, all right? Nobody told Nadeshot to stay quiet, and they kept on speaking.
Nah, guys, listen, chat. Please, like you guys have to understand that just because somebody gets a phone call in the middle of the thing doesn't mean that they're in trouble. He just said there's someone at the door. You think someone's gonna go to the CEO of 100 Thieves and tell him to shut up? Guys, no, that's not the way it works. You know what I mean? Like that's not how things work. So chill with that. Like, hey, hold on, hey baby. No, what's up? Okay, cool. I'm streaming with Matt. I'll be out there in a second. It was Jude. She got home. Anyway, no, and look, Vonderhaar, the thing is, and I guess I have to do it here. This is something that, look, we get it and we understand. And I talked about it yesterday in my stream. We don't know what it takes to generate and create an atmosphere, gravity, the amount of brain matter that it takes to use lines of code to determine where a grenade bounces off of, how it lands and how it spreads. Like, we will never be able to be this artistic or this knowledgeable on the way to that. So we don't know what it takes to do that. Right. But I do know that if the right people from above.
There was one brief little moment, though, where Hecz brought up Bobby Kotick, who is the head of Activision and making plenty of money. And Nadeshot seemed a bit scared to talk about that high up of a person. He could be joking, right? I'm talking about Bobby's not going to do us any good. But it was a curious point to see.
Say, if Bobby Kotick goes to the developers and says, hey, make this.
Hold on.
Make this a priority.
Oh, no.
It will get done. Yeah. No, it will. What? 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 We can't talk about Bobby Kotick. Well, you can't talk about. I can.
Well, no. You know.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Heavy hitter.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, we're committing.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I think my internet is gone. Can't. Wait. No, I'm playing. No, bro, no bullshit. Haley's not home. I heard Gary going off from down below. He's in the kitchen right now. I heard barking, and I'm like, oh, I'm waiting on delivery. Maybe the doorbell rang, and I turn on my front camera, and it's John Robinson. I was like, yo, no boy. It was John. I thought, because him and I were talking earlier about my tweets, and he loved it. And I was like, oh, wait, did he get a call? Did my man race over here? He was dropping off a Christmas present. He dropped off a gift for me.
Shout out Ron Robinson. Man.
Bro, I was like, oh, shit. Man, the world works quick.
Yo, you know what's crazy? As you got up, somebody said, "It's like, oh, he's in trouble." I'm like, guys, what the fuck? Like, what do you think? You think that's no? But I'm saying, no, let me finish. Yeah, I'm like, chat. Do you really think that the CEO of 100 Thieves, someone's gonna tap him on the shoulder and say you're in trouble? No. And then you said that. So
Dog, I thought I saw a ghost. I'm like looking at the pixels on this camera. I'm like, is that right? But no, it's a heavy gift too. I wonder what's inside.
It's probably liquor, dude. Probably liquor.
I don't know. John's pretty good at giving gifts. Normally he gives me books.
What do you give him?
Well, dude, I still working on that. I definitely need to be better about gift giving. So
yes.
It was very nice of him, but I forget where we left off. I think
the other thing, Hecz off the Pine Park. How does that? Have you seen me in the last? I don't know how long have I been here. 20 minutes. Smoke a joint or a bowl or a dab? No,
wait,
like where do you get that from? What?
You smoke weed?
Yeah, have been all my life since I was 17. Just kept it private.
Calling the ops. That's all. Can't believe it.
But yeah, I mean, like look at you know we're the conversation that we're having right now, right? Like, it never impeded me from doing the dream that I was able to accomplish.
Yes, we know. Weed is the devil's lettuce, dude. It's right on everybody's brains.
No, it's not. All right, so
yeah, it's tough. Well, the other thing is too. I still think rank play. I know we all sound like we're talking to a brick wall at this point. Still, to me, is just the easiest layup I know we just talked about it a little bit, but we had a really long conversation. I was doing just chatting on my broadcast for like 4 hours.
And then the two go back and forth about Call of Duty needing more than multiplayer. And this is for the casual fan and the esports side. Just Call of Duty needs more. They need ranked play. They need better maps. They need so many other things to even keep the casual audience alive. So that was cool too.
And like the proof is in the pudding. When you look at games like League of Legends that has been around, the biggest game in the entire world, the most played game in the history of video games, besides maybe like Mario. I don't know where it stands now. But the point being, the entire game out of the box is built for competitive. When you get on, you get to level 30, then you jump into ranked play, 5v5. There is a road to success. There is progress. There is evolution. And even right now with Warzone, it's like, how can we argue with them when they got tens of millions of people playing the damn game over the lifespan of it so far? You win a game, great. Here's a calling card that you earn with your battle pass, and that's it. There's just there needs to be progress. There needs to be evolution. There needs to be something to play for. Look at games like Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, Apex Legends. Great games for what they are, but I don't think they would be nearly as successful if Apex didn't introduce ranked play like a year or two into the lifespan of the game. Rainbow Six Siege, nobody really talked about it at the beginning, and then they built and fostered a fucking incredible community built off of esports and ranked play. And Rocket League, if that game didn't have, I don't want to make assumptions, but I don't play it. I did at one point, but if Rocket League didn't have ranked play, I don't know if people would still be playing it and as passionate about it as they are to this day. I just think that Call of Duty needs to shed away their thoughts that every player that comes home is working all day at their job and then they have 2 hours play with their boys and that's it. No, I'm telling, if we took the door hinges off and we kicked down this fucking this barrier in our head that Call of Duty's for casual players, and that's it. If we said from day one that when you log in, you're going to go through 10 placement matches just like you are in Halo, and then you're going to get a rank that's universally associated to any playlist that you're in, and if you want to opt out and go play a social playlist that doesn't fucking matter, then go do it. But everybody should be sent to a ranked playlist. I think it would revive Call of Duty as a matchmaking game. Not, it's like you cannot deny that Call of Duty is, if not the most fluid and most fun arcade shooter. I mean, there's a reason why people are still playing and dying on this hill for Call of Duty, because it is the most reactive and the fluidity, the way that you feel, the response that you get when you play the game. It is still one of the greatest games ever made. But the problem is that they don't invest in the actual structure of how players experience that game, because they have this stone age mindset that we don't want players to know how bad they are. That's
in this part. Hecz simply asks, where are we getting the money back? Right? They touch on so many cool points of how they put this money in. They are willing to invest $25 million. But where is that investment going? And that's a great question. As a fan, as a viewer, you are seeing them dish out all of this money on top of the $25 million investment. They have to pay all their players and staff and whatnot for that. But where was the initial investment put? Where did that money go?
That's why we do skill-based matchmaking. So that
Matt, whether they don't have to invest in it, we did. You know what I mean? That's where my head goes, right? Because we're not even asking them to, but we're like, yo, we'll invest in this. We will invest in this, and here comes 12 franchises that want to invest in it. That's my problem. That's where I never come around to understanding, because we get it. Fine, it may not necessarily be your jam, but guess what? 12 people, 12 entities believe in it, and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. Where is the allocated resources that we're paying for? Because we're paying for it. Like, we're investing in it. You don't even have to invest in it. We're investing in it.
And we're smoking weed and shit.
I mean, I know you're not. But again, it's like we can continue to talk in circles. I think that having these conversations, and what weirds me out and what I said earlier is that, like, we have been saying this since Black Ops 2. We've figured it out, how to cross-pollinate how to cross-pollinate casual players into competitive players. There's a lot of achievement hunters, and you can argue that the majority of the casual players all go for the 10th prestige. All of them.
We got rid of prestiges. Woo!
Think about this, right? And I said it to Vonderhaar in person. I've said it to since in podcast at the OpTic house, Scuff house. I said all you have to do is display your rank, whether you're copper like Nadeshot or diamond like me. Display that alongside your 10th prestige. 10th prestige and then and then a diamond. Whoa, casual Johnny says. What the fuck is that? What, the diamond? Oh, yeah, you don't got it. So where do you get it? Over there. He's like, all right, well, I'm an achievement hunter. I thought that I was the best because I'm 10th prestige. Apparently, I'm not. There's another level. Oh, shit, I'm excited again because I now get to play a different game. The thing that the pros play. I want that. I want to let people know I'm not just good in pubs, but I'm good against other people.
Yeah. One of the crazier hot takes Nadeshot had throughout the entire thing was at this point where he says that Call of Duty or Activision needs to shut down all of the third-party wager and matchmaking sites out there. And that's really crazy. And at first when I heard this, I thought, that is so dumb. What are you talking about? And then last night when I re-listened to this, I had like some sort of epiphany of like, wow, he does make a decent point. I think people are going to fall on both sides of this because obviously there's a lot of jobs in those third-party sites. But think about this. Every day when you check Twitter, how many 2,500, 5K, 10K, 25K, $50,000 events do you see? And you see whoever it is, whether it's a Warzone player or a Call of Duty player winning the events, and you go, okay, scroll right past. I think that's the point that Nadeshot was saying. The prestige, the notoriety of Call of Duty events nowadays is so freaking little unless it's maybe champs. And I do agree with that. And especially when it comes for Call of Duty as a whole, but obviously the infrastructure, right? The economy of that. This helps out Warzone and Call of Duty players in their free time when they can do a 5K tournament on a Wednesday and a $10,000 tournament 2 days later. So it's an interesting point that comes with a lot of downsides and I would say a lot of upsides as well with that kind of consolidation. And I would love to hear Nadeshot elaborate more on this in the future.
All you have to do is add, display it.
Yeah, hot take. I completely agree on all the ranking stuff. Like you got to be proud of what you've earned and what you achieved. I'm gonna throw a hot take out. I wish I had one of the another professional player. I mean, you beat me on land, so maybe you'd be considered professional too.
I did. I am 1-0 against you in land.
You know what? The problem that I think happened a long time ago that doesn't get talked enough about is how we. I'm gonna try to deliver this the right way.
Yeah.
And my COVID brain fog is still hitting me. Activision needs to shut down every single tournament website except for one. All right. The worst thing that ever happened to competitive Call of Duty among all the other things that we just talked about and all the things that didn't happen is when we had 4 different search and destroy tournament websites where people could play wagers. You had a tournament that was pumping every 30 minutes and everybody, it used to be when you won a 2v2 S&D kickoff, you walked away with like $2,500. And when you tweeted out that you were the 2v2 kickoff winner, everybody was looking at that tweet. And for the last like 4 fucking years, 5 years, I just see every 15 minutes, 2v2, one and done, kickoff tournament, 3v3, S&D, Bocage only, tournament winners. We ruined the one thing that we had going for ourselves when Activision didn't give us a ranked play system and Major League Gaming back in the day gave us game battles. The worst mistake that ever happened was allowing other websites to hijack Call of Duty IP and throw tournaments so that they could take 40% of prize earnings from every tournament that they threw. The prestige of winning any other tournament aside from a major on stage were those S&D tournaments, and then they were just gone because nobody cared anymore, and we self-consumed too quickly, and it killed all the things that we had to play for. Because back in the day, that's what we were streaming too. Me and Seth were sitting there playing Slums S&D, Aftermath, all these S&D tournaments on one website. Well, it was Game Battles and UMG. Even then, I think that was a mistake, but there needs to be one universal website where all of these tournaments that players signed up for compete on. If we're not going to get rank play, they got to give us something. And it needs to be cease and desist for all the tournament websites. If you own one of them, and I know you, I'm fucking sorry, but
I'm so sorry.
We cannibalize our own community by having all of these tournaments that don't fucking matter because there's too many of them.
Yeah. And look, again, I'm with Nade. If you own one of these tournament websites, we apologize. But he is right.
You're catching strays out here.
And the thing is like, if we go by my personal rule of always do what's best for X, right? Whether it's for OpTic or whether it's for Call of Duty in this instance, like we need to go down that route. Can this be done swiftly? Yes. Right? Can we make something that people can compete on and just one that's exclusive? Because I hadn't even thought about that, right? Because that was mega important too. I mean, to this day, I'm still playing game battles matches, right? So that tells you like the importance. What was the point of buying MLG? Give MLG back to Sonny and Sepso. Have Adam change, well, just change Esports Engine back to MLG and let that be a thing on its own. Let them do instinctively what they've done their entire careers that we all sort of jived with, right? Like it's there. The history will repeat itself if we're not careful, and we have the opportunity to like right the ship now.
Dog, I feel like I'm back in 2011 at the first ever MLG event. Like you said earlier, we were just like in a corner with nobody watching us. We had like 10 chairs set up. Only 2 of them were filled. Oh my God.
Coaches were on their knees. Ego was breathing on Rambo and big timers like this. Yeah, that's my boy Ego. But
man, all these things just have always been so obvious, and we just haven't had a single point of actionable steps taken to actually improve the community that we all know and love. It's sad, man. It really is.
This one was an obvious one, right? At one point or another for this season, let alone last season, when it comes to champs or majors, if you don't have every team at your biggest events, what are you doing? What did your teams buy in for? If you are a franchise team who invested into a league, you deserve to have a shot at every major event, and especially at COD Champs. Every team should get to shoot their shot, whether they're the worst team in the league or the best team, when it comes time for Call of Duty Champs. And I would say majors as well, and I think these two might agree.
Somebody was saying, we don't have any more storylines besides Scump versus Crim. I'm like, the fuck you do? What are we talking about, bro? You got like Gunless, Slasher, and Hook on our fucking revenge tour with LA Gorillas. We've got all of NYSL, Crim and Clay back together, 2 most accomplished players in the world. Yeah. You got Toronto Ultra, who was like the feel-good, like remember the Titans team from last year coming in trying to take FaZe's spot. Like you have so many storylines that have been built for the last year. But again, you don't have an opportunity for these players to display those moments.
Bro, Seattle Surge got cut short because they were, you know what I mean? Like imagine if they would have been allowed to go through like their entire season without having these like only 8 teams show up. And I get it that we have to make the matches that we play on a regular basis matter, and this is what makes them matter. But at the same time, like we can't go away if Call of Duty was brought up in a certain way, like that is not something that we should like we should add to it, not try to reinvent it.
Can you imagine Vanguard drops whatever date it was, November, what was it? October or something? Hypothetically, Vanguard drops November 1st, and then on November 14th, 2 weeks later, we have a fucking home series, major event, something where you have, like I said, the amateur players all go sign up like they did for HCS Raleigh. 4 of them get to come out of pool play and fill the 12 franchise teams that we have into a 16 4-pool bracket major tournament. Can you imagine the viewership on something like that? This is drafting off the momentum that we had with all these players changing rosters. I mean, everybody, it's like the NBA nowadays, right? There aren't a lot of like, there isn't like the bad blood that you had in the 90s with the Pistons and the Knicks and the Bulls, because all of our players now have grown up with each other and they all became boys. But now all of these teams change. Envoy, whether he wasn't upset that you guys did what you did, but he had to go. Crim and Clay still fucking mad at Envy for sending them on their way, their bags packing. All of the moments that just transpired that it cut all of these band-aids off and people aren't cool with each other no more. Can you imagine watching NYSL versus OpTic Envy or OpTic on main stage playing for a championship in the finals? Bro, we gotta wait till February. How the fuck? How did we get here? How? No, tell me. And then on top of that, the first event that we play in January doesn't even matter. It's for some, it's like a participation tournament. I don't get how we evolved in these like, bro, it's a layup. It's a slam dunk. It's D Wade throwing up to LeBron. I mean, that storyline, we would have had 100,000 people on YouTube. YouTube's an incredible platform, but some people still don't know that the events are over there. Yeah, it was all Fwiz, 100%. And Lester, let's go.
But Lester was all right. All right, but regardless, bro,
that's what they need to do, Hector. Not to cut you off, last thing. I want to say it one more time. Open bracket events, we only got 12 teams. 4 teams come out of.
Now, this was a point of the stream that I also disagreed with Hecz, but again, he seemed pretty brash on this, so I would love to hear him hit back on this. It was a brand new crazy theory about relegation for CDL. And apparently, according to Nadeshot, the Twitch chat did not like this one, but Hecz brought up a random idea. This might have been out of nowhere, too. It's right. It could have been off the rip, him just thinking about ideas. I'm sure he has better ideas of how Call of Duty League could work with relegation, but his idea was not to relegate the teams or the organizations, but to relegate players who are on the lineups. So if you have a lineup that does very poorly, right? Let's say you have a 4-man lineup who places 12th in the league or bottom 2, right? Those 4 players of that 12th placing team have to go down to challengers and make it back to the league through that. This is a theory that I really don't like, because if you're a player, how deflating would that be? And you can imagine, you literally think about this. Imagine worst case scenario where you have a player like Scump or Crimsix or Clayster or a high-end player or like Octane, right? What if Octane gets relegated and can't find a good enough challenger lineup to ever make it back to the CDL? For me, that really sucks. I understand where this would be very competitive, right? You have players literally gunning for everything. But I don't think this is a model in sports either, so it's not one that I'm a fan of. But again, it could be needing some further explanation. I don't like relegating players, and I don't think we'll ever see relegating teams either, because the teams wouldn't like that either. So if the teams wouldn't want to be relegated, why should we let the players be relegated? I understand the teams made the investment, though.
How about this for making it matter, right? There are 2 teams, right, that are number 11 and number 12, okay? And more often than not, they're playing the league minimum salaries. What happens if those
relegation?
2 teams, what happens if those 2, and we're not talking about relegation from a franchise standpoint. We're talking relegation from the player contracts standpoint. Those bottom players don't get to come back until they make it back up through a challengers, right? So if I'm OpTic and I'm in 12th place and I have Seth, Shotzi, and Illy and Dashi, okay, I can only keep 2, or I can only keep 1. 3 need to come up, and they happen to be picked up from whatever. And the 4th player gets to be the substitute. You know what I mean? Like, that will make players try a little bit harder. Don't relegate the people that are paying the amount of money, but make it to where the players have to fight for their salary. Make the challengers be the ones that are up there.
These are the
ones that have to come up.
Look at these idea starters. These are threads of thought. We should build on these. We should do this.
We want relegation 100%, but not for the people that are paying some hefty amounts to be able to participate and help grow something, right?
Hold on, chat don't like whatever the fuck you're saying. I was looking at my Twitter. I don't even remember what you're saying. I'm not co-signing it.
That's kind of horrible. How? Wait, did you hear my idea?
You said something about players get relegated back down to challengers or something that are getting paid the league minimum.
And think about this: the number 1 and number 2 place of challengers to make it into the competitive side get to stay.
Well, hold on. So wait, let me get this right. Let me go back. So you're saying the 11th and 12th team that are paying the league minimums, that are fielding like new players up and coming, that aren't, the classic forefathers Call of Duty that we all know, love well. You're saying if they don't perform, they have to go back down to challengers and make it through the challenger bracket to get back on the team?
Yes. If they ever make it back. It has to be a dire situation for these players to care A little bit more. I know they care. They all care. They all love it. But I want, I want there to be a place, because what are we going to do? We can't just kick out, team number 11 and 12 who are paying what they're paying to stay into the league.
Well, I see, but I don't even think you need to go down that road. I think the teams that bought in, the 12 teams can pay whatever fee that we all to get into this league.
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, I think that instead of penalizing players for not performing because they got to a place where they made it to that team, there needs to be a way for the challenger teams that are coming up to play against the teams that are already in the franchise.
Who do they play?
What do you mean?
And they, okay, let's say
I'm saying you throw in February, we all go to Anaheim, and the 12 teams start playing on Thursday, and I don't even know if this makes sense because sometimes I'm a little stupid. But on Tuesday and Wednesday, you have like a 256 team bracket, or however many kids would come and sign up, like they used to do for the open events, and the 4 best teams then get thrown into a pool play, old school Call of Duty tournament where the top 4 go into those 4 pools that we create with all the other teams that already have seeding. And then they fight it out like an old school Major League Gaming event. Does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah, but my only concern there is what benefit do we get as franchisees, right? Like, what do we get? A team that hasn't paid anything into the league doesn't just automatically get to benefit from everything that we're doing, which is where the player thing comes. And maybe each franchise has to have a challenger. It's like OpTic Nation is ready to happen if the right opportunity presents itself.
Well,
and if there's an actual like plan for challengers, but right now there isn't. But I do know that I agree with you 100% that there should be that aspirational, everybody signs up and 2 teams make it to play on main stage with whoever. But like, how far does that go? And what's the benefit? You know what I mean? Like, they don't get prize pool, right? If they beat, somebody in there. So that there's a lot of,
I think there's ways to set up mechanisms from like an ownership perspective and participation for the franchisees, because you're right. Like, and that's the other thing that everybody listening at home needs to understand, and players too. We are footing a very expensive bill, and we're paying very high salaries in hopes of, creating a very successful league for the future. There's mechanisms and things that we have a lot of history with like the Premier League and all these other leagues that we've seen from traditional sports. There's got to be some way so that not only are we, growing and building the attention and love and affinity for the league by creating aspirational opportunities for challenger players and teams, but I'm sure there is some way so that all of the teams that have committed long-term to the league are incentivized through that system. I just think that with all the progress that we made with open events and the feeling of being able to work your way through a 128 team bracket or 256, whatever it might be, that magic that we had in a bottle has gone away. And there needs to be some way to bring that emotion and that pride and that feeling that I can, grasp on to the world of professional Call of Duty in some way. Yeah. There's got to be a way.
And this right here is one of the best parts of I would say the best part of the entire stream. And I'm probably going to do a solo video on this because this is one that I missed until I watched it back. Hector Rodriguez and Nadeshot going off on a viewer, a random viewer out there that Hecz goes off on, calling a moron, and probably for a rightful reason, when he says, the fan says, oh, it sounds like it's all about the money. And Hecz and Nadeshot, they return fire because, hey, welcome to esports, man, where nobody is making money. And yes, it is all about the money. This is a business at the end of the day. And if you are cheering for OpTic or you're cheering for 100 Thieves or whatever your favorite organization is, your favorite organization is most likely at this point in time not making money. And they made a gigantic investment into a league which is not showing results. So I understand this is a random Twitch comment. Those guys and lads and ladies can say whatever they want. But hearing Hecz and Nadeshot really speak to the fact that, yeah, at the end of the day, esports is a business. We aren't here unless we make money. Best part of the stream.
Somebody in the chat said that it's always about the money. You fucking moron. Like, seriously, as you're sitting there typing on the thing that you bought with money, you moron. Like how do you pay for your internet, man? You know what I mean? Like, how do you think we pay for the salaries that we're paying today? It's always about the money. It wasn't, we paid our dues for 10 years, you fucking moron. We paid our dues and we used the money that we made to fund this shit, okay? We want this to be around. It needs to be a business. You moron. God damn it. A lot of you got it. And I usually don't like to stop for slow people because it's, you know, survival of the fittest, okay? The little antelope on the edge, okay, is the one that get eaten by the fucking tigers and the lions. Moron. Sorry. Let's continue on.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, if money wasn't involved, you wouldn't be watching 99% of the professional players that you watch playing these tournaments. They're in their young mid to late 20s. Some of these guys, like, they had to make a choice a long time ago if this is something that they could do and forego, you know, the traditional route of getting a job. A lot of them, a lot of them finished college and jumped through hoops to hopefully make a living from this one day. If money is not involved, the league doesn't exist. The fucking players aren't competing. The partnerships aren't being signed. Like, it's a business, guys. And if you can't understand that, then you got to go take business 101 at your local community college.
Do not waste your time. Do not waste the money. You're not gonna understand it ever. just continue to grab your squeegee and continue to squeeze, and then grab your cardboard box and a marker, and that's your job. Okay, don't even bother. Okay, don't distract the class that's trying to make something happen. Jesus Christ. All right, what do you got planned for what are you got right?
Oh wait. Yeah, right. I actually want to ask you a question. So I'm curious your thoughts on it, because me and Jack talk about it quite a bit. Like arcade,
I think COVID's real.
Yeah, arcade shooters like Call of Duty, Halo. What else? Either way, it's like Halo right now. Like, if you go look at Halo as a Twitch category on any given day, unless Formal's streaming, you got like Snakebite, Frosty. They might have like 3,000, 1,500, 2,500, somewhere along those lines in terms of viewership. But you don't have anybody that's like pulling like 10K, 7K, 5K, nothing like that.
Yeah, not yet.
Is it wild to you? Because that was always like my biggest fear and why we decided not to go into Halo. Is it wild to you that we had, and that's not the only reason, but we had over 100,000 people watching the Halo major, but on a day-to-day basis, people aren't really playing the game or watching the game? Sorry.
Well, think about it, right? Like it's had a long. I mean, people like us still see as Halo as the or not still, but we saw Halo as a North Star of sorts, right? As to where we wanted to be from a esport perspective, right? The same way they would want to have the viewership that Counter-Strike has, like that sort of thing. So I think that the dormancy, the amount of time that they spent underground, like, shouldn't have had this resurgence, right? And I say it all the time. You bet against it every single time. You're going to bet on the fact that Halo is not going to succeed. You know what I mean? But the fact that it came back with the strength that it did, with the fans being like 400 teams, I think it was more. I don't remember how many teams, but there was a bunch of them. Am I surprised? A little bit, but can you be surprised when something that good comes out? And whether they had 5 years to figure it out or not, like, it doesn't matter. The fact is that they went away for a very, very long time. Maybe the same thing as if what was that Respawn game that they Titanfall? It's the same way if it's Titanfall out of nowhere came out with a super competitive mode and it made so much sense and it was fun, it was vibrant, that it had the same sort of resurgence.
Yeah,
like you see it every single time. You should not be. I mean, fuck, man. What was that little bean guys that were running around and falling off? Fall guys.
Yeah, that game was lit.
Like, you have these games, right? So Halo coming back in the strength that it did surprised me a little bit, but not to the point where I was like, what the fuck?
You know what's great? I was just thinking about this entire situation with Call of Duty is, yes, we're in the dumps right now.
Yeah, it's Apex. Yeah.
We're in the depths of hell when it comes to competitive Call of Duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty can still be the hero. That's what's great about all this, is that even though things are as worse as they've ever been, bro, imagine they pull up next year, league play, new formatted CDL tournament schedule, amateur teams, S&D tournaments, Call of Duty. Bro, they just need one banger. They need one banger with all the features that we need. Call of Duty's back in the good graces. We're back in the saddle, riding off into the sunset. Bro, I'm telling you, you can't be the hero unless you're the villain at some point. I'm telling you, bro, the redemption
I'm hoping
arc.
that's the case. Yeah.
Copium.
Or we need to start, asking questions the right way. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we've asked a lot of questions today.
No, not like that. Not like that. You know what I mean?
They also go on to talk about way too many studios, way too many COD devs when you have to split the time and, of course, the cycle of which studio gets which game. There's just way too much going on there, and that needs consolidation.
Well, I think we've asked a lot of questions today.
No, not like that. Not like that. You know what I mean? But don't we have like 3 different developers? Like, can't we just allocate one of those developers to be the overseer of competitive for both Sledgehammer and for Infinity Ward? Like, can't we just have one person that says, these are what we're thinking as far as map goes. You guys figure out what applies to competitive and then just have that be the thing. It's not like we aren't a AAA title. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, it's not. Somebody asked like how they justify paying 20 mil for a franchise league. It's as simple as this. Call of Duty makes $4 million a day on skins. If we can make $5 million in skins a year, we get there pretty fast and justify that amount, right? But we need to see that first. We need to have that opportunity.
Hecz also complains about the OpTic Call of Duty skins, which is interesting because when it comes for player skins, he has certainly not participated for obvious reasons of maybe not getting enough of a split or profit margins from that. It's been a talking point by Tactical Rab of these OpTic skins and them not signing into them. But when they did get their OpTic CDL skins, apparently Hecz was not a fan. And he also brings up another killer point. There are killer COD skins out there, right? There are some very cool COD skins. There's also some COD skins that look way good in the preview and then look like arse in the game, but you understand his point, right? COD camos look amazing, so why aren't CDL skins looking equally as good?
The fact that I can see camos that are glowy and have these lights coming in, the fact that you had a camo that you pressed down on the inspection and rockets came out of it and shot it, but you're giving OpTic a camo that seemed to have been painted by someone who doesn't understand just art in general. That annoys me. A camo, a neon green and black camo for OpTic, a neon red and black camo for 100 Thieves. Like, think about that. Like, where is it? How come they get to have like these fancy light shows on their weapons? And we just get camos.
Well,
man.
and that's the other problem is that the incentives aren't aligned because the studios, they want their skins that they create for the battle pass and the MTX drops, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, for that are they have to share revenue with the CDL skins. So when they make the skins in game that don't have anything tied to it, they make more money. So that's why when I pulled up to our first meeting about the skins that we were going to see for the CDL, the people that were working on it were fantastic. Great. I loved working with them. I think they had some great opinions, some great thoughts, but yeah, the skins just, they aren't it. Like the fact that we don't have
your text,
like the fact that we don't have a reactive LA Thieves and OpTic camo for not only our actual player operators, but the weapons themselves. Instead of it's just like graffiti that was spray painted on, and it doesn't look anywhere near special compared to like even the fucking Damascus and like dark matter that you've seen in the past.
They further elaborate on this by saying they also would love to have influencer, streamer, and player skins, which I agree with. We're going to find a game out there eventually that is so esports focused that wants the best for everybody and will include that. They go on to say how influencer skins and streamer and player skins, they won't interfere with the regular everyday Call of Duty skins because people will just keep on buying more. It's to overall benefit of the game to include those as well.
I would love to see a world in which there is the same way that there's a ninja skin in Fortnite, that there's a Scumpy skin. Even you, dude, like you're what you've done, like you should be immortalized as a fucking skin. You know what I mean? Like I think you can. You have the, I was gonna make a joke that we only make in private, you and I, so I'm not gonna make it. But like that, like can I just don't get it because they get a cut of that too, and it doesn't affect anything else. I don't like. We moved to PC because we didn't want to share some of these earnings with the stores of PlayStation or the stores of Xbox, right? Where there was once a dollar was being split by Activision, by Xbox Store, and the orgs and the players. We removed one, and now it's between three. But like the economics haven't really been shown the way that they were presented to me, at least. And that to me doesn't anger me because I can go away with that one thing if we can get league play, if we can get something that people can create content around.
Crim6 assassinates you with a cig in his mouth and pulls off in his GT3 RS.
Something, dude. Think about it, man. Like it is a thing.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah, bro. Imagine a Crim. Bro, think about that, man. A Crim 6-1. Everybody that.
Bro, we already got Crim6 skins. The dudes with the night vision goggles and 20 guns. We got Crim6 skins. We just need like I would play as a Scump character with his like red hair glowing or something. Glasses that are too big for his face.
A really, really curious one is they talk about the future of mouse and keyboard pros and would they allow them in the CDL. And that's a very interesting one because it really depends where you see, mouse and keyboard versus controller being the future. And will we see a mouse and keyboard player really take over? Because that would certainly add a lot of spice. Here are their thoughts on that.
So some dude just asked, his name is Samuel something, keeps on asking what you think
Samuel
about
Jackson?
crossplay. Yeah, Samuel Jackson. What do you think of
Crossplay?
the snakes on the plane? Yeah.
What about it?
Like, what do you think about it?
Like crossplay and competitive? Like, can keyboard and mouse be allowed to play with controller?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. That's not a conversation I'm willing to have right now because, I mean, fuck, bro. I don't know. I'd be okay with it.
I'm not playing. I don't care. You know.
I think controller players still bust their asses, but I think it'd be okay. I think it's fine.
I agree with you if it's people that haven't been playing Call of Duty for as long as, like if it's a Climax Zoo or if it's like some of the old Halo or some of the old Pro Mod Pros or that sort of caliber player comes in, like I think that there's definitely like a run for their money, and I think that the thing there though, it's like saying this, right? The thing there though is like if you have a full team of PC players and they beat a team that has one PC player and five, I'm talking PC player, I'm talking about keyboard and mouse. That there's always going to be that like, oh, maybe they won because this dude was playing on that. So until people play on the same playing field with whatever tools they're using, like I don't know if they could ever.
Yeah, I'd be okay with mouse and keyboard players. I think controllers would still win. Like, bro, it's like Warzone for me, right? Like, I was playing on mouse and keyboard when it first dropped because sniping was more fun. Medium to long range gunfights were a lot more fun. But it's just like Halo right now. The close to medium range gunfights, controller players, more times than not, are always going to win the 50-50s. Because aim assist isn't going to allow you to miss that second or third bullet that is the difference maker in Call of Duty with a game that's time to kill. So I'd be fine with mouse and keyboard players competing because I don't think it would impact our current like professional player base too much.
I don't think so either. I mean, you've seen some of the. I mean, hand-eye coordination's hand-eye coordination, right? And there is obviously a level that you need to have to be able to operate the keyboard and mouse. But you do see Formal, you do see Scump, you playing Valorant. Like this isn't something that's like completely strange to people, right? Like I think that there's more controller players and controller player base that have played and have adjusted to play on keyboard and mouse than there is keyboard and mouse going the other way.
Mud Dog made a pretty good tweet. How Call of Duty Mobile is free to play, and he showed us all the maps that are a part of it. They play on Crash, Crossfire, Firing Range, Hijack, Standoff, Killhouse, Nuketown, Takeoff, Raid, Summit, Scrapyard, Meltdown, High Rise, Terminal, fucking all these beloved Call of Duty maps from so many different eras, Slums, like. Bro, Call of Duty Mobile, they are set up. Bro, they have like kill zone packs so that when you shoot somebody, like green, mist pops out. It's dope. It's dope.
Yeah.
We got none of that, bro. You see
Well,
that? You see that clip JCap tweeted out
Yeah, I did.
of
I mean,
shipment?
listen, it looks beautiful. Like I commend the artists and the coders and everybody that made that beautiful thing happen on shipment where there's explosions everywhere and so. I commend you. It looks beautiful. Keep it in multiplayer. You know, for the casual fan base. Let's focus a little bit, just a little bit.
Wait. You think that looked beautiful with all the fire going off and smoke?
What I'm saying is that I appreciate the artwork that it took and the mental capacity that it takes to be able to create that atmosphere.
I don't disagree.
Is it fun? No, you can't see shit. You're dying every second, and no one likes to spawn and die. No, what I wanted to lead with something positive because I read a book somewhere that says that if you lead with a compliment, then you can like shove.
Well, no, it's a feedback sandwich. It's like an Oreo. You start off with something good, then you hit them with the truth, then you end it with something good.
Yeah, something good. But again, they're trying.
And Nadeshot also bringing to light that, hey, Call of Duty can die. Call of Duty can have a couple of bad games and maybe never see the light of a mainstream audience again. And this is something that was pretty daunting to hear, but made a great point because we have seen, at least in my opinion, you guys of course probably defer on Call of Duty titles, the past couple of Call of Duties, for me personally, have sucked. Yeah, one might have been better than the other, but neither have been really that great. So Nadeshot pointing out, if we have 2 to 3 more years of crappy games, we're in a really tough spot.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm not with all that. I think, yeah, I'm not all in on these ugly, visceral, war-torn maps. Like, get it out of here, please, dear God. I mean, can you imagine, bro?
How ugly was World War II, dude? It's like I felt like I had mud.
What do you mean? Vanguard is just as ugly, bro. It's
it's not that bad.
Wait, you're dead ass?
Yeah, I like it. I'm having fun playing it.
Well, all right, bro. Name me the maps that you've been playing in S&D.
Bocage. Then there's what's that?
Dreary,
Carrington?
like overcast. Maybe there's a little bit of light, but it still don't look like it's light out.
Yeah, which one's the Carrington looking one? The one that I always drop double digits on. Yeah, I always go 13 and like 3 and shit because I'm nasty in that map. And I plant bombs too.
Listen, all I'm saying is I want to play on solar again. I want to play on bright, vibrant maps. I mean,
but weren't you just saying that you didn't want them to be remaking games? I don't want to find the tweet because I don't want to put.
No. You're right. In the context of this conversation, I'm not. Yes. I brought up Mud Dog's tweet because he showed all the maps that mobile players are playing on, and they have rank play. My point is, when I bring up something like solar, is I want to play on maps that are vibrant and beautiful, and you're not upset when it comes up on rotation. Like, obviously the structure and the layout of the map matters the most, but I'm telling you that there's got to be like a focus group or a study that shows that people's nostalgia and love and affinity for maps is somewhere related and weighted to the lighting and the warmth of the map itself. I guess all I'm trying to say is, it sound like broken record, I don't want to play on fucking maps that are overcast with bombs blowing up, fires everywhere. I just want to play on some beautiful, aesthetically pleasing maps. Because Call of Duty is always going to be Call of Duty. I just need something good to look at. Something that doesn't make me want to fucking
If you put
cry.
it into perspective. Unbelievable.
I'm sad.
Well, the good thing is that you're still involved. I'm still involved. Stroll's still involved. There's a bunch of new smart people that are coming into the space that are still involved. We can turn this around 100%. Look, bottom line is this. If we were able to do it during the Modern Warfare 3 era, during the Call of Duty 4 era, if we were able to do it and we were able to do it without the support or the full support, then we can still do it now.
I don't disagree, but we still need, like, the reason why there was opportunity there, in my opinion, among all the other things that we did, but they were great games. That's like Modern Warfare 3, great game. Call of Duty 4, classic. Like, Call of Duty is slowly but surely, burning their opportunities to have players see Call of Duty as like a franchise that they need to play every single year. Because as soon as you go too far down the rabbit hole of games that just don't stick and people don't want to play, that love and affinity for the game itself they might not be coming back and playing it every single year. And the format in which Call of Duty is played is been repeated over and over and over again. So we need some really good games with some really good maps soon.
And very lastly, for all of you, I'm just so glad I was able to do this because hearing these points was so amazing. I instantly think back to Valorant or CSGO or League of Legends or Rocket League. I'm not sure about all the Rocket League maps, though, of Call of Duty having night mode maps. Maps where in a competitive nature you are playing practically in the dark, which aren't only good for, they're bad for viewership experience, but for players having to play on a dark map at night in a competitive setting, that's a thought I never have thought about. Like, I can't imagine in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, we go from Mirage to Dust, Inferno, all of a sudden nighttime Cobblestone comes out, and you look and the players are like, yeah, like I shining the flashlight, like I think he's back of A. I can't imagine, and I haven't thought about this ever before. So if you guys know other esports that do this kind of thing, like I might be naive in this. Does R6 do this? Does Rocket League do this? What other esports have competitive players playing on darker nighttime maps?
I think, and hopefully this happens, right? April, May is when League releases, because that's right on time as to when we used to have champs, which is the third uptick or the second uptick in the Call of Duty season. I think that if they need to get it right, like there's no reason as to why we don't get it right. The movement in this current Call of Duty is nice. In your opinion, the maps aren't that great. I have fun playing S&D. I'm not. You know, I'm not.
Just get rid of the fucking doors, bro. I don't want to play with destructible windows and doors. Like, as soon as
I want to play that, I'm gonna go play Rainbow Six.
Yeah, I mean, the doors. Come on, bro. And there should not be 7 different entrances to like a POI. You know, there's too much to look at, bro. I need some consolidation and some, like, as a competitive player, you want to be able to make assumptions of where players can and cannot be. You don't want to be, flicking around thinking that. Like Berlin, for instance. Think about Berlin, bro. They have those 2 buildings that have a back door, fire door. No. They have 3 stories, horrible. Windows.
Dark, nighttime.
The operators blend in. You could jump on tank. Like, bro, there has to be some guarantee when I'm on the map that I'm not going to be able to get shot from every single direction, bro. I don't even play S&D well in this game because there's too many places to die from. I can't hit no rushes with confidence.
I don't like playing maps that are at night, like night maps. Like I just don't see the need to play in dark. Like, yeah, it's beautiful. Miami last year, beautiful map. Or 2 years, last year, beautiful map. But it played like just bad.
Bro, right? Miami was the size of the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Half the map was bigger than some of the maps. Like the beach itself was the size of Bog from COD 4.
Bad map. It wasn't as bad as Brecourt from Call of Duty 2 though. That was just like above and beyond too big of a map to ever be allowed back ever.
I want to play Stonehaven again. Let's bring that back.
Which one's that?
Probably like one of the biggest maps in Call of Duty history. Remember Ghosts? Stonehaven had the castle. It was fucking huge.
Yeah, not good. I don't know. I'm for whatever's gonna get some help from the other side, some real help. Because what annoys me the most, man, is that I have to always lead with the fact that every single person that I talk to that works on the league product wants it to work and is willing to listen and has put in the requests. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go have dinner with Liv and Jude. They already ate, but I'm gonna eat in front of them while we, have some fun time.
But
yeah, let's not wait too long, man. Let's bring back the basement. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
Imagine just cobwebs and construction lights.
I'm out, bro.
All right, brother.
Chat. I had a good time, man. Today was a long day of conversation. Still got no idea if there's going to be any repercussions for the conversations that we've had today, but I guess we're going to have to wait and find out. Hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, look, I think the good news is I still love Call of Duty. Y'all still love Call of Duty. We want the best for the game. We know how successful Call of Duty can be. We just need the right tools and the right system, the right format. So hopefully we can get that. I'm going to host Zuma. Go watch The Flank. They're going to be talking about, you know, a lot of things that we talked about, but they're going to have a fresher perspective because they all still competing to this day. So you guys go watch Zuma and The Flank, and y'all have a great day. Thank you guys for watching. Had a great time today. Appreciate the love, support.
And that's going to do it, guys. There were so many amazing points throughout this. I will definitely be making some solo videos on a few of those points. What was your favorite throughout the entire stream? I just got nothing but respect for Hecz and Nadeshot for speaking up. We have not really heard any updates from the league ever since they did speak up, as everyone went off, and then there's been radio silence, at least publicly. Hopefully things are being done privately. But what did y'all think about this? Tell me your favorite moment. If did I miss anything? Leave a comment down below. Okay, till next time, do me a favor. You know what to do. Drink up. Catch you back here sometime soon. Okay, bye.